Military Seahawk Podcast.
Welcome to the Military Seahawk Podcast. I'm your host, Melanie Nelson, the Military Student Services Specialist at UNCW, and today I'm interviewing Joe Wessel. Joe is a senior in the Cameron School of Business, a student veteran, the current president of the Student Veterans Organization at UNCW. He's from the Midwest, and he talks like he's from the Midwest, but I'll let you judge that for yourselves over the course of this interview. Hi, Joe. Thanks for coming on the show.
Oh, yeah, there. How are you? That's not
See
really
what I
how
mean?
I talk.
Do you see what except it is at certain times. All right, so first, we are going to take a moment to debrief because today is Veterans Day.
Yes, it is.
Which means it's the start of Veterans Week here at UNCW, and Joe and I have both had a busy run-up to Veterans Day. On Friday, I went to the Veterans Day ceremony at Cape Fear Community College. Very nice ceremony. And then on Saturday evening, I attended a Marine Corps birthday ball, which doesn't actually have anything to do with Veterans Day, but the Marine Corps birthday is right before Veterans Day, so it's all kind of wrapped up in one.
It's always a great time.
It is a great, great time. And then, Joe, I know you marched in the big Veterans Day parade downtown on Saturday.
Yes, I did.
Yes.
Marched with Post 2573 and Team Red, White, and Blue. So I walked with them and handed out bracelets and stuff. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, good representation. And then you also helped plant U.S. flags all over campus yesterday morning, on Sunday morning.
Yeah, so me and probably 6 or 7 other hooligans came out. Bill's golf cart actually died. So,
Oh, no.
So we just used Kevin's 4Runner as a glorified golf cart. So I'm pretty sure that's the only, well, I'm not going to say only, but it's probably one of the very few student vehicles that has ever driven down Chancellor's.
What an honor.
Yeah, it's a good time.
This is what veterans do. We just solve problems with whatever is close at hand.
It's an 18 mile per gallon golf cart. That's all it is.
Yeah, and then we just brag about it forever. So it's a thing. So then, of course, today you were one of the featured speakers during our Veterans Day ceremony here at UNCW.
I was.
So how are you holding up?
Good. Crazy, actually. I just solidified all the flight plans for all of us to go to NatCon, so I just got that pushed through the travel agency. So that's one less nightmare that I have to deal with. And January 2nd through the 6th can't come fast enough because we're going to Los Angeles, and it's going to be a great time.
Yeah, so you're referring to the Student Veterans Organization is going to go to the National Conference?
National Conference for the Student Veterans of America. It's the largest post 9/11 gathering in the country.
Going to be good times.
It's going to be a great time.
Yeah, so exciting stuff. Happy belated birthday.
Thank you, thank you.
Joe is a Marine, in case you couldn't tell. So we're going to go ahead and get into our regular interview now. Regular stuff. So when you were a little kid, so sometimes Joe does act a little bit juvenile. I'm just kidding. So when you were an actual little kid, though, what did you want to be when you grew up?
Yeah, I mean, I hate to say this, but I feel like I always wanted to do something with the military or something. Kids running around in the backyard playing guns, Indian and cowboys. I was really heavy into paintballing, just being outdoors all the time. And then junior year came along in high school, and I'm like, well, I think I'm going to join the Marine Corps. I'm tired of southeast Wisconsin, so let's go see the world a little bit. Let's go explore. So ended up joining the Marine Corps. I don't know if that's the exact route that I wanted to take at the time, but it was the best option, and here I am today. For now, I guess I'm still have to do growing up, I suppose. But now I really want to. I want to fly. I want to be in the sky. So, however that happens with private pilot's licenses, and really want to fly helicopters. So I'm gonna get to that one day.
Someday.
Yeah, someday. Just not today or 6 months. I'll get to it.
So I think you are the only student veteran that I've interviewed so far who kind of knew from an early age, like, yeah, I want to be in the military.
I just wanted to do something that was fun. It looked exciting. When I got out of the Marine Corps, I thought for a little bit that I wanted to become a police officer. So that's actually my original track. For now that it comes back to me, I was going to do one enlistment in the Marine Corps and then go be a cop. But things changed with me and my wife, and we decided that's not the route we wanted to take. So here I am at UNCW doing supply chain management and cybersecurity.
Okay, so let's back up a second.
Sure.
So junior year of high school, you're looking at going into the military.
Yep.
How did you choose which branch to go into?
Well, the Marines are the best, so you got to be the best of the best, and that's pretty much where that conversation ended. I walked into my recruiter's office. I'm like, hey, you look cool. Your uniforms are cool. Let me be cool. And he's like, well, here's an 03 open contract. And there I was, little little less than a year and a half later in boot camp, like, what have I done? This was an instant mistake. What have I done?
You're like, this is all happening way too easily.
Oh, yeah.
This should tell me something.
Yeah, the classic, I'm in danger.
Yeah. So what does it mean to be O3 open contract?
So that's just when you sign up for the Marine Corps, I was fortunate enough to get an O3. So O3 is just infantry. So it's like O1, O2, O3, O4, so on and so forth. I think O6 is comm or data or something, but O3 pertains to the infantry field. So we have riflemen, machine gunners, mortarmen, assaultmen, and tow gunners. I never met a normal assaultman in my life, so thank God I wasn't one. But that's what that contract means is O3, and then I went open. So you go to ITB, Infantry Training Battalion, and then they select, like, hey, we need machine gunners, but I'm a short guy. So they're like, nah, you probably wouldn't be a machine gunner. But just turned into a rifleman, and there I was. Did 5 years with 3-8.
Okay. So even before that, though, so you signed up O3 open contract, and then you went to boot camp. Which boot camp did you go to?
I went, so it was weird because I enlisted out of Wisconsin, and I didn't realize that the cutoff line, I just assumed that I would go to East Coast, Parris Island. No, apparently Wisconsin is the swing state, for lack of a better term. So it literally just cuts off at Wisconsin, and you're going to San Diego.
Had you ever been to California before?
No, I don't believe so. And then it's a funny story, my uncle was the primary marksmanship instructor at boot camp when I was going through boot camp. So needless to say, he had a lot of fun with me, and he let my drill instructors know who I was to him. So I got special treatment, we'll say, all thanks to my Uncle Chris. Really appreciate it, buddy.
I always knew there was a reason that you are the way you are, and that's probably part of it.
Why are you the way you are?
Why are you the way you are? Okay, so boot camp was good times.
Yeah, it's always great times, yeah.
And then Infantry Training Battalion is located in?
That was at Camp Pendleton, area 52, 51, something like that. That's where they house all the infantry training battalions. And we just do, I can't remember how long it was, like a month and a half. My 19th birthday was actually the grenade range. So on my 19th birthday, I was hucking grenades, and I remember, because I was left-handed, which is wrong-handed when you throw grenades, so they thought that I needed more time with practice dummies, so you can just fill in your mind on what happened there with practice until I think we threw one or two, but yeah, because I have to hold the ball upside down and just pull it a whole different way, so I just wanted to make extra sure that I wasn't going to drop it in the pit, and pop goes the weasel.
Yeah, so now I'm picturing, so later in the lounge during this week, during Veterans Week, we're going to be watching Band of Brothers, like nonstop. We've just all agreed we're not going to get any work done this week, and we're just going to watch Band of Brothers. And so I'm picturing that scene, like it's one of the very last episodes where they're bringing new guys in who, like, they just finished their training, but they weren't really part of World War II, but then, like, it's the very last gasp, last couple days, and they have some kid who's, like, got to throw a grenade, and she's never done it before, and everybody's like, just throw the thing.
Just throw it.
Yeah. That was you.
Yeah, that was me. Just throw it already, okay.
And then, like, things don't go well. Anyway, I don't really remember. This is why we're going to watch Band of Brothers again. I don't really remember exactly what happens. There's so much.
Major winners.
Yes.
Major winners.
Okay, so your job in the military, you were infantry. So kind of classic, like you picture, G.I. Joe.
Yeah, pretty much. That's all it was. My first deployment was in 2012 to Afghanistan, and then we came back from that, and then we did the special purpose MAGTF over in Spain. So that was set up so Benghazi or Libya would never happen again, and embassy didn't get ran over. So it's pretty much just a quick reaction force from the Marine Corps. And then my third one, I went down to Benin, Africa. So we were originally stationed in Sicily, and then we went down to Benin, Africa to train 130 national policemen in border security, basic infantry tactics, rifle marksmanship, just things like that. And then, applied to UNCW, and here I am.
And here you are. So what did you like about your job in the military?
Oh, man. Well, you never just get to shoot that much ammunition for free. And that's what I loved about it, just going to the range and just shooting and just having, like, the best time of your life. Like, it's literally just, like, I don't even know how to explain it. It's great. it's a great time because you hang out with all your friends all the time. Like, I mean, there's some people
they're your coworkers, so there are some that you're like, I love you, but I hate you, but yeah.
Love you, but I hate you, but I mean, it's more love than hate. You get those onesies and twosies that you hate. And I'm sure I was one of them for some of the people.
I didn't want to say it, Joe. I'm glad you said it. We were all that person for somebody.
Yeah, I was definitely that person for a few, but I feel like the farther and farther my career went on, the more and more, everything kind of made sense. But that's the best part I loved about just hanging out with friends, shooting guns with friends, traveling with friends, and then those bonds, haven't dissipated since, I still talk to, friends from Georgia, friends from Pennsylvania, Alabama, Kentucky, a lot from Wisconsin. Met some guys from Minnesota, Wyoming. Like, who lives in Wyoming?
Like one of the 3 people who lives in Wyoming is one of your friends.
Apparently, yeah, he was a machine gunner, real good guy. So yeah, that's absolutely what I loved about my job. It's a great time.
Yeah. Okay. Weird question. Do you like, how there's like a taste in the air after you fire a weapon?
Yeah.
Do you like that taste?
No, because it's way too abundant for me because I'm left-handed, so all that gas just goes directly into my face and just my sinuses are just screwed. Especially if you shoot suppressed weapons, that's just so bad. Like I'll choke on my own clouds. Like if it's a breezy day, yeah, I like that gas smell, but yeah, being left-handed, they just come out right at eyeball level, and I choke myself to death.
There's nothing better though than a bright, breezy day out on the range when it's all like kind of swirling and then it swirls away.
Yeah, I like bright sunny days, and then the tracers light the tree line on fire. That's a lot of fun because then it's a really bright, fun, hot day. So we did that a few times. I've seen it happen. It's a good time.
Yeah. So I was the gunnery officer on a destroyer, right? And so we have our 5-inch guns, and you could go out on the bridge wing when we were doing our firing exercises. They're big boomers, and so but the ash would come floating back, and you could basically taste it, and it was always this electrifying sense of yeah, we just made a big boom. I always like that.
What that smell like?
Yeah, I like the taste of gunpowder. I don't know where these things come from, but we're just weird people. That's all I can tell you. Okay. Unique. We are individuals. So what did you not like about your job?
Oh man, being angry all the time, just yelling at people all the time. Because the environment that you're brought up in, clearly you can't take time to explain things to people when lives are on the line. So you just yell at people get over here right now, come do this right now, run that way right now. There's absolutely no room for being polite in the infantry when you're doing the job, and then you step back. After you do the mission or you run the range or whatever, and then you come back and, thank God they're all your friends or whatever, because they're he yelled at me because it was his job. But I feel like if you drop any normal person into those circumstances, why are you yelling at me? But that's just another part of the job, especially when we get newly joined Marines into the battalions and stuff. You just got to keep that focus going, and the yelling going, and the loudness, and the constant fast, because that's what they depend on. That's what we all depend on, And it was an adjustment period for me, but you get used to it really fast. And I hate being angry all the time, so I'm glad I got rid of that. Because you got to be an angry, bitter human being in order to do it, and it's not a healthy lifestyle. Props to those guys who can do it for, 15, 20, 30, 40 years, especially staying in the O3 community. You have my props. You have my props.
There's a reason their voices all sound gravelly. They've just caused their voice boxes to give out after all the yelling. Don't you kind of expect, though, coming out of basic training, if you don't continue in that yelling environment, like you said, then you're sort of, it alters your perspective on the Marine Corps a little bit?
Yeah, because, at heart, we're just loud, obnoxious chimpanzees, pretty much, with weapons. That's the way I looked at it.
How reassuring. Chimpanzees are smart, right?
There's a reason we're the world's, one of the world's best fighting forces in the world, and that's because we're really good at what we do. And I think being loud, being aggressive, and being confident is a huge part of what the Marine Corps is, and that's why people I feel like people look at Marines a little differently in kind of two different aspects. One, they're a little closer to the cuckoo's nest, but they look damn good in blues,
Okay. I'm just going to let that stand on its own. I'm not even going to try to follow that one up. So, but you're like the third or fourth person who's mentioned that you got to train foreign military types on how to do the types of things that you do.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, so we trained, we went down to Benin, and it was 130, they were national policemen, I believe, so, and then we went over, so who was in command of them, it was explained to me, was our equivalent of the FBI director of Benin, Africa. So he came out, he trained with us a little bit, and then we had a little party with all of our guys that went down there, and he invited us to his house, and we had food and just had one of the best times of our lives. Like, they're so welcoming there. It was really weird. So we went down there and trained 130 national policemen. We went, majority of it was within the city, the capital city, Cotonou, Benin. And then we trained them there, and then we did a little training exercise in a village. And then we did our final culminating event in the jungle. So we started that really early in the morning, just running through jungle. And then we were split up into 3 teams with our counterparts. So I had like 50 guys with me, other one had 50, and then 50. And we had 3 objectives that we had to secure at the same time. So I think I led the one where we were supposed to capture a notional helicopter, and they were supposed to lay in wait until the signal, and then we would rush out on a soccer field. And then the other one was capture a high-value target, and then the other one was, I think, something about a bus where we did rounds. But yeah, they were really thankful that we were there. Some of them still add me on Facebook all the time. I still see them, and I don't know French, so we had to go through translators and stuff. But just the attitude that they had down there was just life-changing. It sucks. I gave my email to one of the guys that me and a fellow team leader were with, and I feel like Gmail almost filters it out because it's coming from Africa, and I really wish I could get in contact with him again, because he was the coolest dude I've ever met in my life, and we just bonded right away. And he's like 45, Jack does like 50 pull-ups, like. And we just immediately clicked when I was there. And we played handball one day, actually. It was the Marines versus the Beninese, and they smoked us because they can run, and they're fast, and they're strong. And I mean, it's just the environment. It was so hot down there. It was crazy. So yeah, that was my time in Africa, and most stressful time of my life thus far, but I wouldn't change it for the world. Just the relationships I made down there.
There's something funny about when you're running around and it's like really actually hot outside, like you're running around the jungle. There's something that makes you go like kind of feral almost, where it is easier to transcend these boundaries of language and culture and all these other things. You're like, we're just running around having a good time.
That's literally what it was. Yeah, we started that training evolution at like 4 o'clock in the morning, so the sun hasn't come up yet. And I had one translator with me for 40 guys, and I was leading a ranger file. So a ranger file is you just one behind the other, one behind the other, one behind the other, all through this terrain through the jungle. And we pretty much just communicated through hand and arm signals. Like, yeah, we did a crash course on our hand and arm signals, but they forgot them, and so we pretty much did common sense. Like, I would point to someone, and then I would point over there, and they would get it. Like, hey, maybe I should move over there. So it was a lot of making stuff up on the spot, and I feel like that's why pretty good at improv these days, just kind of pulling stuff up and learning how to talk, because I mean that's what you have to do. You have to think on the moment, you have to create a plan, and that's what I did.
Cool. So is there one habit or mindset that you've carried forward from the military into your life as a veteran?
Oh, wow. If I really want something done, I'll do it. But one habit that I have, I mean, it's pretty much the complete opposite of a habit. Because for 5 years of my life, I was told what to do, when to do it, how to do it. And now I'm really belligerent. So if I do not want to do something, I won't do it. And and that's the wrong way to look at it, because you need to do stuff that you don't necessarily like. So I'm kind of coming out of that shell. But for the first 3 years, 2 years I was out, 3 years I was out, if I didn't want to do it, I would tell you, no, I'm not going to do that. But I realized that's not the way to go around life. So that's one thing that was a 180 for me, but for bringing something out of the military. Waking up early is great. Love waking up early. What is it? Yeah, daylight savings time kind of screws with that a little bit because now I got to wake up super early.
Every time.
Yeah, every time.
So annoying.
So now I got to wake up super
messing with
early.
our lives yet again.
It's what it is. Was that invented by Ben Franklin, right?
Thanks, Ben.
That guy had a lot of great inventions. This was not one of them. This was not one of them.
Just to be clear, we're not fans. Well, so it's interesting. So there's a personality theory called the Four Tendencies. It's written by an author called Gretchen Rubin, and she wrote the book The Happiness Project and a few others. But she has this theory that there's different categories for ways that people will respond to both inner and outer expectations. Mm-hmm. And in the military, you have no choice but to be what she calls an obliger, where you respond to all outer expectations. Mm-hmm. So you wear the uniform and you shine your shoes, and somebody yells at you and you move and do what they say, mm-hmm. whether you like being yelled at or not, right? So it sounds to me like after several years of having to oblige everybody else's mm-hmm. demands on you, you kind of went into what she calls obliger rebellion, where you decide, no, I'm only going to do the things that I want to do now, and I'm done with it. Yeah. I felt that way too sometimes, where it's just like, no, I don't have to be nice about this or whatever.
If I was in Star Wars, I would 100% be a rebel. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Marine Corps was the Empire. I'm the rebel.
I am
out here, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Back then, I was like, yes, I will do that 100%, and I will love doing that. You know.
Well, and sometimes I think, too, we kind of rebel against, we have our own projection of what a veteran should be. Like, we have an idea of what we're going to look like as veterans as we're leaving the service, and we almost rebel against that, too, sometimes.
I would have a cool beard if I could grow a beard, but I can't. I would have a nice, thick Brandon Cotter beard, but I can't. I'll look like Master Splinter if I grow it out, you know. So I just kind of keep it trimmed, keep it nice, and just hope nobody says anything.
I just wear my hair down all the time.
There you go.
I never put it in a bun, ever again. Okay, so habits that you've taken out and habits that you've sort of adopted. So interesting. You applied to UNCW when you were in Spain.
Sicily.
In Sicily.
Yeah,
okay.
Sicily.
Why UNCW?
Oh, I mean, do you want the real answer or the politician answer? Real answer is it was the closest four-year university at that time. I had no idea what I was doing with my life. It was either this or CFCC. And then I was like, you know what? I really want to try and get what I can out of a four-year university because I never got to experience that college life. So I'm like, you know what? I'll apply to UNCW. I think... Yeah, UNCW was the only one technically that I applied to because I was going to wait to apply to ECU up there, but UNCW already approved me. I was like, whoa, all right, looks like I'm going here. And then as soon as I get approved, I just molded all my plans around that. So we lived up in Jacksonville. I commuted for my first freshman year. No, not like I had a second freshman year. I mean, like the first year I was here. And then we eventually moved closer here, so it wasn't that far of a commute.
Yeah. It is awkward, though, as a student veteran to say you had, like, a freshman and junior and senior year. Because you're like, no, this is just my first year, or, like, I'm taking these classes. Did you have college credits when you came in?
I think I had, like, physical education. That's the only thing that got waived from me from Marine Corps. Thanks. But I took some college credits in high school. Like I said, I was thinking about being a police officer, so I took some criminal justice classes. So I think I came in with 9 credits, but 9 is better than 0. So yeah. I'll take that any day.
Well, and so kind of more importantly, you had experience in a college classroom setting.
Yeah.
I
mean, don't get me wrong. I think that's the number one thing that's spread throughout campus when it comes to veterans is the first year and the second year is definitely the hardest just because it's such a transition. And then you're in class with, 18, 19-year-olds. You haven't really found your clique yet. You haven't really found any other veterans. But once you do find that, the crowd, the like-minded crowd, you can all complain about the same stuff together. And,
and what do military people like to do better than to sit around together and complain?
That's pretty much all we did, yeah. I mean... Why are we at the motor pool at 05?
Yeah.
Let's complain about it, but then we don't know the bigger picture, so then just let them complain and let them be, what's it going to hurt?
The difference being that here at some point you do kind of have to figure out the bigger picture for yourself.
Yeah,
right?
And man, did that come. I'm late to the game usually. I really wish I would have found out the bigger picture, the bigger game 2 years ago, because if I knew what I knew now 2 years ago, I'd be unstoppable. So right now I feel like I'm just playing catch up, and I feel like I'm doing a pretty good job at it. LinkedIn, the National Conference, the Leadership Institute, the VFW, the American Legion, just talking to people, I didn't really talk to anyone my first 2 years, and because I just wanted nothing to do with other veterans, If you looked like a veteran, if you smelled like a veteran,
You would cross to the other side of Chancellor's Walk.
Yeah, I'd be like, I don't want to talk to that guy. But then I had some self-reflection. I'm like, well, why am I like that? He's pretty much me. She's pretty much me. So why don't we get together and have a beer and just complain like the good old times? And here I am, president of the Student Veterans Organization 3 years later. So
And complaining about it nonstop.
Still complaining about it. That's what I do.
Yeah. So what are you studying here?
So my track is a unique one. I was originally supply chain management concentration with a minor in cybersecurity. Some things didn't work out, and I was fortunate enough to have a really good advisor, and then the department head for supply chain really helped me out. So now I'm technically a business or a general business track. But what this does is this allows me to take whatever classes within Cameron School of Business that I'm interested in. And I'm interested in supply chain management, and I'm interested in cybersecurity. So the way the old one worked is I would need to stay, longer to get all that stuff. The concentration in supply chain management and the minor in cybersecurity would just add time that I am not afforded right now due to personal circumstances, So we talked a little bit, and they're like, you know what, this is the best route for you to go. So I'm taking supply chain management classes and then a whole bunch of cybersecurity classes. So they line up together, and it's not a degree of either one, but if you look at my transcripts, it'll say that I've taken a majority of all of the curriculum. So that's where I'm at right now.
How did you get interested in supply chain with a cybersecurity focus?
So the supply chain side, I love operations management. From what I've been told, from what I know, they're pretty much interchangeable. Operations management, supply chain management, efficiency, getting stuff from A to B, cutting costs. Just overall being an effective business leader is really intriguing. I always have a few ideas in the back of my head what I want to do when I actually grow up. I'm talking long-term plans, 45, 50 years old. And then cybersecurity is just interesting to me because we're on an exponential climb right now with the need for cybersecurity. So Jay Richardson's the one that actually got me into it. He invited me to a cyber defense club one time last semester, and I was just blown away at the things that these people can do. And I was like, this is so interesting to me. So I took MIS 324 and MIS 322, and now I'm taking MIS 492, which is cybersecurity supply chain management, actually pretty much what I want to do for the rest of my life. And yeah, I just took up an interest. I like the subject, and I went from there.
Yeah. So where do you think you'll go from UNCW? What's your first step after leaving here?
First step leaving here is obviously get a job. So we're floating around the idea of moving up to the Twin Cities, Minneapolis and St. Paul. We have some friends up there who are in supply chain management, who are in marketing, and then this and that. And then Wells Fargo has a big building up there. Cisco has, a pretty good reach up there. And then Polaris. There's just a whole bunch of Fortune 500 companies within Minneapolis that I feel like I'd be a good fit for. So that's why we're moving up there.
Okay.
That's where I see myself in the next, 2, 3, 4 years. But I mean, everything, my life is, if you could put a sticker on me, I would literally say, this is subject to change. Like, all right, want to do something else, boom. So I'd be like, I want to move to Billings, Montana. Let's go do it, I'm just one of those kind of guys who doesn't need... I need a general plan, but if I want to do something, I'll make a plan to make it happen.
So what's interesting is talking about how you came up and kind of created your major, really, with the working in tandem with the business school, and then talking about your plans for the immediate future and then what you want to do when you grow up. You mentioned the phrase, the big picture. What is the big picture?
So the big picture for me is I love nonprofit stuff. I foresee a whole bunch of natural disasters. Hurricane Florence was pretty devastating here. Texas got hit pretty bad. Obviously, Louisiana was pretty bad. So at the end of, not the end of my life, I suppose, because I hope to live, long and fruitful life, but 40s and 50s when I have enough money behind me, this is big thinking, big picture stuff. I would love to have 3 helicopters to my name and 2 pilots that are just ready to go for natural disasters. Like you see so much bureaucracy, like, oh, we can't come get you because we don't have a helicopter. Like, I'd be that guy that's just like, all right, let's go. This dude needs to get saved off his roof, so let's go. You need me to deliver water, let's go. Like, the forest fires in California, I would love to go do that. I think that'd be a life-changing experience. So I would love to have my own helicopter fleet when I'm 55.
You want to be the Cajun Navy in the air.
Yeah, so I'll be the Midwestern Skylines up there.
With the accent.
With the accent. Oh, hey there, bud. Time to save you.
Time to save you now.
You want some cheese?
You would have to carry cheese on you. Yeah. Like that would be, yeah.
Oh, you want some cheese curds? They're squeaky.
Okay, so you have a big picture in mind.
Yes.
That's always reassuring. And it's just interesting how you grew up kind of wanting to be in the military. How much would you say what you did in the military contributed to your big picture?
Oh, plenty, I suppose, because I've seen real struggle. Not everyone's fortunate enough to live in America. Not everyone's fortunate enough to have what we have. And at the end of the day, I just like helping people out, And if that comes down to, someone needing a ride, someone needing this, someone needing that, someone getting picked off a roof, that's my calling, just like to help people out. So I'll do everything I can for you at that time. So I figured what better way to do that than to just get a little Wisconsin Skyline Army going on and go hang out some natural disasters.
Complaining all the way.
Complaining all the way. Wow, this is a bumpy ride. Yeah, it's called turbulence.
It's called turbulence.
It's called turbulence.
Oh, man, I can picture it now. Okay, so any last words of advice for other UNCW students?
Oh, students in general or student veterans?
Well, let's do both. Let's be exciting this time.
You trapped me into that one,
I
suppose.
did.
All right.
If you have to ask, you know that good deeds get punished.
Oh, man. All right. So regular students, we're getting to a time and place with technology that everyone is sucked into their phones all the time. So my advice would be get off your phone and talk to people actually. Don't message them. Just go up to them and say, hi, how are you? Texting is very convenient, but it's those face-to-face interactions is what's really going to get you, lasting relationships, lasting bonds. I was born in 92, so I grew up with the technology slowly coming in, but I feel like, I hate saying kids these days because I'm only 28, 27 actually. Man, my wife's going to kill me. I'm 27 years old. I know the struggle of always wanting to have technology in your face 100%, but I feel like I've weaned off that, and it's for the better. So, regular college kids, put down the phone, have regular conversations with your friends, and you'll see where it goes.
Cool. All right. Now, student veterans.
Student veterans. All right, here we go. This is a class act.
And by the way, don't keep me here for like half an hour.
No, 100%. I'm going to make this short and sweet. Get involved. Find other veterans. And if you have problems, talk through them. And if you have a problem, seek help. There's no shame in seeking help. Just don't do anything stupid at the end of the day because life's awesome if you keep going, if you keep grinding. You might be in the dark for a little bit, but man, it'll get brighter. he'll definitely get brighter. So find your clique, what it is. If you like surfing, go into the surfing club, you know. If you like to do runs and stuff, you know, just join a club. Join something, join the Student Veterans Organization, hang out with other vets, hang out with whoever you want. Just don't box yourself in, and remember that the first 2 years of your 4-year education, if you didn't do your first 2 years transfer in. So if you just came straight to a 4-year university, your first 2 years are going to be the hardest things you've ever done in your life. You're going to be in class, you're going to be saying, why am I here, what am I doing? You're always going to second guess yourself, but at the end of the day, you need to figure out and say to yourself, I want this degree, I'm going to get this degree, I'm going to sit through these classes and shut my mouth. And just vent to all your other friends and just keep your head on, keep your head low, and just keep digging through it.
That sounded very infantry at the end.
Yeah, it did. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah, I mean, you are who you are. That is probably the bottom line, too. Just be who you are.
Just be who you are, yeah. Just be normal. Don't fake anything. You don't need to impress anyone. You are who you are, you know? Just be a good dude, you know?
Just be a good human.
Just be a good human, yeah. Be a good dude, be a good dudette, you know? Just be a good human, you know? Mr. Rogers, that lifestyle, you know?
Yes.
Just be like Mr. Rogers.
Boy, people don't really think that military people could turn around and be Mr. Rogers.
Yeah, look at Bob Ross. Bob Ross was he was in the Air Force, and now he's one of the, you know, most recognized painters in the world, you know? We're all just happy little mistakes, you know? Well, I mean...
Hang on a second. This is getting weird. All right, it's time to wrap up now. Guys, it has been a long Veterans Day, but Joe, we are not going to say thank you for your service, because then we're going to have a really awkward gap in the conversation.
So cringy. Please don't do that.
Let's not do that.
Yeah.
But...
just stay classy, San Diego.
Stay classy, San Diego. And thank you for being part of the show.
Hey, no problem.
Check out other episodes of the Military Seahawk podcast at uncwtealtv.org.